Yeah, and really with how many 1-1s Wildcard has as well, of course, don't know how tiebreakers are going to be settled, but at the same time, you gotta hope that it would work out well for them, but that's where they gotta win first before we even talk about tiebreakers here, because Thunder Awaken aren't gonna give it to them for free, and I think that's where Scarlet Mage, we've seen the hero get more popular again, the damage is fantastic, the plays you can make with it are great. It's not as, I want to say, necessarily potent as the Kunkka Scarith mages we've seen before, but okay,
All
Thunder
right.
Awaken are doing something else here. I don't know if that's now going to be a Matthew, Keeper of the Light, and then we see Pandaboo take the Shadow Demon. I think, again, it's going to be lane dependent. We're going to have to see how they reflexively move them around, but hey, that's a much different hero than we've seen, but a hero that also combos with the Ember Spirit pretty well, and I think this means that this Ember Spirit might be a core now.
Oh,
Oh, and Void?
throwing
Void
it back
Sky?
a bit. Yeah, the Void Sky combo. Haven't gotten to see it for, oh, quite some time, but not a bad play. You can set up maybe for the Ghost Ship or Torrent combo as well inside of that Chrono. Timing gets maybe a little bit funky in terms of really trying to maximize how long the durations last, but Wildcard can throw a lot in here if they get the right sort of initiation. This is always the downside when you take a Faceless Void. The team very often ends up being overly dependent on the Void to actually make that initiation. We saw something similar early today with that Yuma Magnus game where all of a sudden your big ult is not a luxury, it is a necessity, and if you're not hitting it, then your team just sort of can't really help you either. So we'll see what the Faceless Void can do here. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Yamsun, though.
Yeah, and I think Thunder Awaken are already making the call that this is probably going to be the Kunkka shifting over towards the offlane, but that's where even no matter the position and all of these heroes being as flexible as they are, it just feels like you still need to find that right laning setup. You need to get exactly the type of lane you want. Otherwise, well, you're kind of up shit creek without a paddle. And well, Kunkka, as we've seen, and really only fallen apart towards that Death Prophet, the Timber Saw is brutal, and I can't imagine Wildcard, if we do see Devi end up taking it, Thunder Awaken are constantly going to look for just getting that matchup specifically, and then he's just going to be absolutely hopeless. At the same time, if they get the Void versus Timber, albeit not the biggest counter, and you're a carry without really any inherent damage, you still have that time dilation. You can still lock up his gears, so he's not actually able to get any return damage out onto you. But Thunder Awaken's last pick here, definitely feel like they need a Pakaz hero. I think this is probably going to be either the Dark Mago, Ember, or Timbersaw. Again, gonna have to see who actually picks up that Kunkka. If they want to go for the counter pick, they might be forced out of it. And I think that's where maybe Wildcard actually have the advantage here with the last pick. They could try and pick up an Esk hero and then just kind of flip the board. But at the same time, what can Pakaz pick up here that's going to kind of invalidate the Chrono, try to play for maybe another Orchid timing? I would love if they just immediately went for, let's say, the Chaos Knight, just because then, well, Wildcard are constantly scrambling to find enough damage to take him out. I think a Strength carry would be absolutely perfect for them. And it's very clearly why they banned out the Wraith King, not to mention just you can't afford to blow every single spell on Pakaz.
Yeah,
And here we go.
good
Dead Ringer.
call. Chaos Knight coming into play for them, so this actually, I mean, it just works so perfectly, right? It's a hard hero to bring down. You basically have damage the tankier you get, so you don't need to build it directly, and you have a lot of punish. The stun and the reality rift onto heroes like Bane and Skywrath means that they could just get pulled out of the fight instantly. So everything that Thunder Awaken really would have wanted, and a hero that Pakaz is very much comfortable with. Meanwhile, on the wildcard side, well, it's time to figure this one out. Is this going to be Esk on the Kunkka, or do they put it in Devi's hands in the off lane? And if they are going to shift the Kunkka, then what actual mid laner do they want here? Trying to go up against either an Ember or a Timber, almost certainly the Ember, but what kind of matchup do they really want here? Because a lot of the options have been taken away, right? They got the Huskar out pretty early on, TA, Storm, both banned out, so the options are limited. There's an Invoker in there if they want to try that again.
Yeah, I really think. And did they pick it? No. I was gonna say the coolest hero pick they could go for is if they slam the Pit Lord, and that'd be kind of sick. But uh, clearly not for Zoomers. And they instead, honestly, a little bit of a gamble pick here on, I want to say, the Kunkka, just because Even though you are laning versus the Ember Spirit, okay, that's going to be fine. In terms of the Kunkka versus the CK, you are constantly struggling to make your Tidebringer damage felt. You're constantly trying to beat into this incredibly tanky strength hero. And we're going to need to see Esk play a really flawless game. I think that he can definitely slow down the Timbersaw, and he will slot into Sacred's hands. That much was almost certain here. But will the Pango be able to really change up enough? Because again, that's more control. That's not really damage. Would love to see Devi go for the Diffusal build again that he went yesterday, just because, well, now you have some more wave clear. Now you have heroes that are going to slow down both Dark Mago and Sacred before they get onto your buildings. The problem is still just the CK and whether or not you actually have the tools to take him out, as we've seen so many strength heroes kind of just run amok in these games where the more finesse, the more agi heroes just simply don't have enough damage. And I think maybe Alexo could be the hero that kind of turns the tide of battle here, but that's also where the Skywrath Mage is just so vulnerable, so weak, and you're playing versus an Ember, so if Dark Mago finds you, just absolutely helpless.
Yeah, the lack of durability for Alexo and Sammy here is going to really be a thorn in the side for Wildcard, because there's so much you need out of those two supports in particular to really enable some of these big teamfight plays that can just be sort of shut down pretty quickly by the mobility that Thunder Awaken has on their cores. So positioning is going to be all important for them. They have to keep themselves alive. That was kind of a problem for that support duo in the previous match. Sammy in particular was just bullied on that Chen, so something's got to change here, otherwise Wildcard might be in for a similar struggle in Game 2.
Yeah, and I think, again, they can definitely pull it off. They can definitely do it. Just got to see them execute. And at the very least, in, want to say, contrast to the Yuma game, Chrono's a much bigger spell. It's a lot easier to land. It's something that's going to feel free, which is why they picked it up. It's just what Thunder Awaken can accomplish in the in-between that always ends up being the struggle of this hero, and why we haven't seen this hero picked for a very long time. It's just the timing is just way too long, it feels, in certain situations, and you just simply get outpaced. They also just need to find those kills. That's what propels Yamsun forward. That's what gives the levels over. And okay.
Decent our time. Dark Mago and Esk not gonna fight. They're just gonna get a couple of high fives in here. Dark Mago dancing around just outside of the range of that tower. You know, we don't have to be 100% serious all the time, but this actually may have been the biggest bait I've ever seen in my entire life, because the rest of Thunder Awaken just wrapped around to try and go on Alexo. So, Dark Mago may have done him dirty a little bit there, tricking him into thinking, hey, I just want some high fives in the middle lane, you know, don't mind my teammates, they're just going in for the kill.
Yeah, and really, again, first blood for Pandaboo. Man's got gold in this series. He's been having a pretty fun time. And we'll have to see with less farm priority what Pandaboo actually ends up going for. If it's going to be, the more usual stuff, Glimmer Cape Force Staff, or if we do see him greed out for some of those crazy items we saw Yarn have in his game. But that's also where, hey, you got Matthew on the Coddle in this game, and they're fighting over the Sentry, and Sammy actually wins.
Oh.
There you go. No small camp for you, Dark Mago, so he's going to have to fix that himself. Maybe even get a support coming out. And actually, I think on Matthew's courier might already be another sentry, but that just means Sacred's going to be on his lonesome for a while here. Or, more importantly, maybe they actually don't get it fixed all too soon. Dark Mago just has to live with it.
Yeah, that would honestly be a bit of a detriment if he has to go those first 4 or 5 minutes without that side camp to work with. But without the side camp, maybe he tries to play a bit more aggressively onto Esk himself. I don't really know if that's going to be overly successful, but could be the route he wants to take because he doesn't have that camp to fall back to. We shall see. Point up in the sleight of fist, so how aggressive can he be? And will Esk care? Because this is still a Kunkka. It is an incredibly hard hero to push out of the lane.
Yeah, and nice Torrent. Esther's doing very easy plays here. And of course, hard to shove this hero out. Always very difficult to deal with the Ember Spirit. You just have the inherent harass where Dark Mago has to play around his mana pool. It's where the water runes are just that much more important. It really is gross though, just seeing an Ember Spirit slide a creep and then just instantly get it. No finesse in that aspect of the hero anymore.
Push button, get ranged creep. Pretty solid for your Ember Spirit. Meanwhile, up top, Sacred, on this Timbersaw, I feel like he's going to have such a different position to be working with compared to Devi in that last game, who really... the struggles for Devi started in the very early stages of this game, whereas Sacred, I think he's going to be far more aggressive and kind of be able to get away with it here, especially with Matthew. Look at him go, just continuously throwing the Illuminate nukes in there, keeping Sammy on the back foot, and plays like that are, in a lot of cases, also going to affect the creep, equilibrium in the lane with the creeps, but you can trade it off for damage, make sure the Bane sort of has to constantly watch his back, then maybe you can sacrifice some creeps but get some kill opportunities instead.
Yeah, and of course, the same boy is Bane, so he has a little bit more HP to work with, but that's also where shutting out Sacred is just not feasible. You just simply don't have enough damage on the Faceless Void, so the more we get to see Matthew fade out, and I like the lane ward that they do play, so they do see when the Coddle does head over towards that triangle. It just means they can try and move around the map some more. I don't think Sammy Boy is necessarily going to try and play up on the Timber whenever the Coddle leaves, just because he can't, but instead we might see him show up to a few more runes, to a few more camps, to try to be even more obnoxious.
Oh, hold on, Devi. That's a rather sizable mistake. He had the swashbuckle. If I was looking at it correctly, he didn't use it. Thought the shield crash would be enough instead, but Kaz gets 2 right clicks in onto him, and it's going to be a kill that really the CK probably should not have been able to get there, but Mango just not quite able to create separation, and that's a second kill on the board for Thunder Awaken.
Yeah, and they'll definitely take it in this lane where every single level up is just so much more damage on your skills, on your spells. Because is the type of guy to get pretty much maxed out Chaos Strike before anything else, just because he's always going for that early armlet. But actually this time around, not really as greedy as I've seen him go before. He's got the boots, he's got the stick, he's planning on sticking around in this lane, and just means that he's gonna look for the kill potential onto Alexo constantly. Of course, killed Divide before, but the Skywrath is really the much easier target. I think that was just uncharacteristic from Divide.
Especially if Panda's in position. He doesn't have the mana for the disruption right now, because he's going to get hit pretty hard there. That might force them to back off a little bit, but he's actually going to just go all in for it. Maybe he's not. Divide now wants some revenge, getting off the swashbuckle, but now the disruption comes into play to make sure that the Chaos Knight gets out of there safely. That Panda, he still gets it. Wow, okay. Divide gets taken down, yeah. Wasn't quite paying attention on the on the Pango. But that's kind of twice now. First, he gets a little bit too close to Pakaz in the jungle, gets taken down. Now, he's in the middle of the fight and not able to sort of dodge out the shadow poisons. A little uncharacteristic, to be honest, from Divide. Normally, he's kind of on top of those things, but little bits off across these first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then Pandabu gets a half pull, then more goes in your favor. We'll have to see. Once Divine gets level 6, of course, everything changes, but it's where this is the slowest Orb of Corrosion timing I think I've seen from him yet in this tournament, as he's really the only one who's been consistently playing that Pangolier, but they're not finding their entrance onto Pandabu, which is the real problem. The SD is just getting away too much, but yeah, mid. Oh, it's so close.
He might still die.
Oh,
nice
Alexo.
play. All right. Esk may not be able to get it done, but Alexo, yeah, TP's in, and that concussive shot is really just kind of automatic, to be fair, but he had to TP in to get it. They'll find that kill. The problem is that leaves the Pango alone in the bottom lane, and Divide, well, he's trying to get himself out. There's that poison, though, stacking up on him again, but once he comes out from the disruption, Divide was able to pop the wand. He's going to be fine. Alexo returns to the lane to set up for another kill as Panda's the one to fall, and look at your Skywrath Mage suddenly starting to swing momentum a little bit. Back-to-back kills, and well, a lot of the concerns in this bottom lane, and in the middle lane for that matter as well, kind of go away thanks to those rotations.
Yeah, the only hard fact of this bottom lane is that Alexo has itemized really selfishly. It's more for himself, and he does an incredible amount of damage with the way that here's been retooled, but it means that Divide doesn't have a salve in his buddy here. He's going to have to more or less deal with that himself, but look at Matthew and Sammy Boy. He's trying to get cheeky here and steal a lot of these creeps, at least XP-wise. And did Matthew just see him? I think Sammy Boy just gave it up. Uh-oh. The game's afoot. He
suspects. Yep, okay, he'll take the ward out. And now the vision comes. There's a Bane in our jungle, and I don't know if Sammy knows that Panda's here. Yeah, this might be a problem. He misses with the first poison, but he's got the disruption, so they can set this one up. The Illuminate will be channeled out, and I don't really think Sammy's got too many ways out of this one. Well, actually, that's a nice way out. Just straight up TP. Panda already used the disruption, and now look at S coming in. He and Alexo trying to combine forces onto Dark Mago. Dark Mago just wanted to get over, maybe take some of those creeps, see if he could get the last hit onto Sammy, but by the time he's in position, the Bane's TP'd out, and Wildcard have now grabbed themselves 3 straight kills, and if you look at Esk, he didn't get any of those kills, but he's got 2 assists, and he's got a lot of last hits at this point.
Yeah, and even more importantly, as Alexo kind of snowballs out of control here, it's going to feel more and more difficult to actually make a play onto him because he is just outputting so much damage. But that was also a play that Thunder Awaken were very aware of. They still have this incredible high ground ward here. They should have known that Esk had the haste rune coming. And again, Dark Mago.
That's a problem.
Oh,
Silence, X, Torrent, Brain Sap. Not enough, though. Dark Mago's able to walk, or Remnant, away from that one.
Yeah, still a little bit awkward. Without the boat, they really don't have a play. And I wonder if they are going to be satisfied with only playing on him. It's good for now, but battle on the runes, perhaps. Once again.
It's a good play to remove the Nightmare, but it still leaves Dark Mago in the X. The Torrent, though, is onto the Coddle, not the actual Ember Spirit. So I think with this many heroes in the area, everybody's kind of wondering exactly how does our targeting play out, and maybe not clear answers at this stage.
No, for sure. It's definitely a little bit split, but at the same time...
Sacred.
Oh, no. That dies by himself.
It's not supposed to happen. Sacred should not be able to track him down with the Time Walk available, but... Well, catches him, and that's a situation. He doesn't even have the Whirling Death. That wasn't just a sort of overwhelm them with nuke damage. That's just Sacred showing persistence. Has the mana to keep that chase going, and now Sammy might be in some trouble as well. He does have now enough mana for the Nightmare, so realistically speaking, he should be fine. Just throw the Nightmare and get out, but he's not going to. Okay, well.
Oh, that was sick.
Sacred just sort of styling on everybody right now. 2 kills in the top lane. This is the downside of the Timber, though. You can't push him out of the lane, but his damage to towers is just no. Doesn't really exist, at least not pre-flamethrower, so he's hacking away at it, but the tower really doesn't care too much.
Yeah, and this is what happens whenever you do kind of give all of that XP and all of that power over towards this Timbersaw. It's exactly what they want to snowball the game. As soon as, honestly, they see that Sammy Boy's TP'd up here, Sacred might just come mid, which is, I think, what he's posturing to do, and timed with the 10-minute cart could be great, and Dark Mago is going to get brought back.
Oh, he does get the Sleight of Fist, though, to dodge the Torrent, and that means this play's done. If Esk isn't willing to commit the Ghost Ship, they just don't really have enough right now, and now you got to be careful. Panda is throwing out the poisons. They're looking for a bit of a wrap here, and I think now they know that Sacred has arrived, but Devi actually gets his Rolling Thunder Channel stopped by the root. He will get it off now, but now the moment may have passed. The Torrent is going to miss thanks to the disruption. Panda is still in the line of fire, but can they actually even really kill him? They are going to go for the X again. Now the Ghost Ship will come through, but Devi's already been taken down. This is just going to be a trade-off in Dark Mago. He's pushing in. He's got the haste rune here. He is silenced up momentarily, but it's not going to deter him. Alexo gets picked off. Esk is able to fall back, but the double kill for Thunder Awaken, and Esk actually may not be getting out of here after all. They hit him up with the Searing Chain. Sacred's going in. Dark Mago gets him with the Sleight of Fist, and Matthew finishes the job with the Illuminate. So Esk, I mean, he was doing what he really needed to do there, right? Just back off. You've used your spells, but Thunder Awaken are just able to continuously chase after him.
Yeah, and that's where a Timbersaw who's snowballed this far out of control, you really don't have enough damage to deal with him, and it's why, even though the Chronosphere was up and has been up, you don't have the level 6 until just now on Alexo. He just got it with the Tome, and I can only imagine Wildcard, they look for a revenge play right now, and they almost need to, because Dark Mago, he got smart real quick. He died those 2 times, got pressured up by the Silence, and then he decided, okay, I'm just going to dodge you guys out for the next few minutes here and just kind of style while my Timbersaw comes and kills everyone. And that's where Sacred really still hasn't skipped a beat. And mid-tower claimed they got pretty much everything they wanted there. And 4K gold lead right now, it's pretty nice. They need anything on Dark Mago. And this is sick, actually.
Okay. They get the Chrono in here as well. Oh, yeah, they are going to use it. I'm not 100% sure they would have needed it, but Eves isn't willing to take the chance. They needed the kill. They get the kill. Dark Mago taken down, but on the other side of the map, that's a kill onto Sammy, which you're okay with if you're Wildcard. Now, though, who's going to prioritize the towers? Wildcard want the tier 1 mid, and Thunder Awaken, I think we're planning to turn that kill onto Sammy into a push onto the tier 1 top, but now we've got a TP back to play some defense here. But Devi rolling in. They've still got the silence onto Panda. The Torrent's going to come through. They do find the kill, but now they need to deal with Mikaz. That's a nice play with the Rolling Thunder initially. They still need to be able to clear themselves out of here, because Esk is... well, he's looking for a spot to hide because his TP's down for 10, and they're not going to let him go. Keeping him rooted up, they'll pull him in now with the Reality Rift, and Sacred gets the kill. So, if you're Wildcard, I like what they were doing. They're trying to push for the tower and take advantage of the distraction with multiple heroes up top, but the TPs come through. They lose some heroes that they really could not afford to, and they don't get the tier 1. That's probably the biggest kicker out of all of that.
Yeah, no, it's highly unfortunate, and they thought that they could maybe snowball it. They stick around after committing a few too many spells, and maybe if the kill on Dark Mago goes a little bit cleaner way before and they don't have to use the chrono, they have enough to actually take that fight, but that's where killing Dark Mago, he is going to be the target, but it's because the Timberstone, the CK, you can't really fight them right now. You have to just ignore them. You literally don't have enough damage. You have to take some crazy long fight, and looking over at Devi, he's still working on his diffusal blade, unfortunately, and we're not seeing him snowball in nearly as consistent manner as he did in the game before that we really both highlighted. And okay, kind of diving in deep here for the play into Yamsun.
They spotted him.
Okay. Oh no.
They get the root down. Stun follows. Time walk not going to happen. He's just taken out, and now this rotation in from Wildcard has to be done without really one of their cores. They are going to at least get onto Matthew. Quick and easy kill there, but got to be careful about any sort of retaliation. Devi is using the Rolling Thunder, trying to get himself away. He really should just make a beeline across the river, and it looks like he'll do just that.
Oh, but now with that Alexa getting caught.
They've got the Skyrock. That's a nice attempt at the turnaround. Silence him to Mystic Flare. It did some damage, but Dark Mago's just able to step out of it. So they lose the Faceless Void. They lose the Skywrath Mage. The kill onto Matthew is not bad, but not a trade that's going to favor him.
Not at all, and unfortunately, well, what do you do now? This is always the question that a lot of these NA squads come into. How are we going to progress the game further? Esk's solution to the Ember Spirit and just another tool in the bag is to just farm up this Orchid, which is 100% a good option, but that's where, sure, it's damage, sure, it's attack speed, it's not really any strength, it's not BKB or an armlet in any sense of the word, and it's a concern because Sacred is about to finish up his Yule Scepter. So
Sacred is the bait. Look at this. He's keeping them here while his teammates smoke in from the low ground. And, well... okay, I was sort of... I hyped that up maybe a little bit too late. It's one kill onto Alexo, but it was a nice play. Sacred's just going to keep 3 heroes pinned down, but now on the other side of the map, because gotta be careful here. Torrent is going to hit him up. He was able to get the Phantasm off, and okay, who needs to be careful when you can crit like that? Sammy is gone. And Esk, there's 0 kill potential there.
yeah, and I don't even know if he clearly maybe gripped the right one. It was so instantly canceled by just dying that I have absolutely no earthly clue, but they're trying to make these plays, but I don't even know if they, let's say it's a perfect situation and the Fiend's Grip goes off, do they even have enough damage with just a boat and the Torrent? I really don't think so, and they're making a play onto Sacred here, and they're getting a lot of damage in the meantime, but they should get him.
There's the Mystic Flare coming in, and yeah, okay, they will finally clean that kill up, and the good news is you did that without having to commit the Chronosphere. That is still available for them, and you can see Sammy, well, gotta be a little bit careful there. Yeah, that's why. The second he realizes he's got him rooted up, he can go in for the Sleight of Fist, but they are catching Panda on the other side of this. The X into the Torrent is going to be there. Can he get a disruption off? Yes, he can. Chronosphere actually caught Because, but Yves, you can't be in there. He gets out just in time as the Illuminate was flying through. So, well, they'll get the kill. Esk was able to find it. It's going to cost him another one of their supports, though, but you need some sort of income on these cores, so it's not ideal. You use the Chronosphere, but Esk gets a kill. Progress towards the Orchid is just about done, and these aren't massive plays, ET, but it's all really Wildcard can afford right now.
It really is. It's continuously kind of being a problem that they have no other choice but to deal with. A larger issue is that, well, without Chrono, well, now the Amazon doesn't really have anything defensive. He's going to get shoved out of whatever lane Thunder Awaken decide to push into next, and well, Sammy Boy,
Oh,
it's
man.
happening again. And try for the
Okay.
life.
Nice brain
I was
sap.
going to say,
And, well, he's still alive, and Dark Mago's getting a little bit too far forward. He's triple silenced into the Torrent and the Ghost Ship and the Mystic Flare. And Dark Mago's dead, and at this point, I mean, Sammy will finally die, but the cost is exceptionally high. But now, they're going to turn this one around. The Cosmonaut's in. S is going to get stunned up, pulled in by the Reality Rift, finished off. Sammy buys back, but, well, I don't know if there's really a fight to be had. Look at Cos getting around the back end.
hunting.
Wants it. If he can find it, well, that makes it easier. Sacred's just going to get him the vision, and now they'll push their way in. Alexo gets taken down. Devi's got to just get himself out. He was able to pick up the defusal, so he is going to be able to do a little bit more damage, but not in this scenario, as he is getting run down. The disruption locks him in place, but he did get through the illusions, but he can't deal with the actual Chaos Knight, as Devi Lama will be taken down. Sammy now going to be able to get back into the base. That's good for him at least, but that's his second life. He already did go down once. So, this is not looking good. And now Yves, you've got to be so careful here. He doesn't have the Chrono to bail himself out. He has a TP, but he's going to need to create the space. And, well, that's a nice play. Can they pull him in? No. Dark Mago needed to be maybe a second or two earlier to give Pakaz the actual time. So, at least you're able to get your Faceless Void out of there, but you lost pretty much everyone else.
No, it's very disconcerting, and well, Sammy Boy's back on the ward here, but I think he won't lose his life this time around. In fact,
Nice.
yeah, it's going to be Panda Boot in trade, but
Wait.
that's where Picard, they all went bottom. They all just moved around the map. They had the recall. They just swapped sides, and even though he clearly thought he was safe because Pakaz and Dark Mago both used their TP top, well, nope, we're going to bring you bottom with the Coddle, and well, we're all back together.
That is so unfortunate. That was such a nice play. Devi gets in, they get Panda, they save Sammy, but I don't want to say who cares. It's still a kill, but if you're losing your carry on the other side of the map, any gains that you got are just kind of nullified, and now they might lose even more. Devi's going to get hit up by the Searing Chains, did get off the Swashbuckler, so he was able to move, but not far enough away. Pakaz finds the kill. He's 11-0-4 now, by the way, on the CK, and they're going to be looking for even more kills. Sammy, once again, going to be the punching bag here. They will take him down. Meanwhile, Esk finds a kill into Panda, but Panda was just there to buy time. Pakaz is in, and this Kunkka, I don't think he gets out of this one. He will try to TP away. That is optimistic at best, but Pakaz locks him down. Continues to be beyond godlike. Esk takes a trip back to the fountain, and Thunder Awaken. I mean, they're just doing it to him again. Really, just pushing into fight after fight after fight. And Wildcard, much like Game 1, don't seem to have many answers.
Nope, not at all. And, well, here's the Roche. And really, what can you do to even propose a question? Devi would love to roll around them in the pit, but not only do they not know about it, I don't think without a Blink Dagger he's going to feel confident enough to get in, let alone get out. So, well, there's an Aegis over on 2, but I can only assume Pakaz is going to take, yeah. Dark Mega would love it as well, but I think they're just saying, well, the guy with almost 3,000 HP is already hard to kill once. Try to kill him twice. No, it's just not going to work. But that's where Wildcard need to reestablish themselves and kind of decide who do they want to kill with this next Chrono. They would love, I think, to kill both the supports and Dark Mega, get a nice little 3-man, but that's how big we're looking. I think a solo pick onto Dark Mago isn't enough at this point because of how much ground they've already kind of lost. I mean, net worth-wise, everyone is behind the cores of Thunder Awaken, despite even Dark Mago eating those 4 deaths, and well, they're getting run out yet again. Can they just take Dark Mago, though? I don't think so.
Sammy's going to go down. Devi, he got out the Rolling Thunder, so they might think that they have an opportunity here, and they kind of do. The Chrono, it hits onto Pakaz, but no one else. That's a no-go. They've got to run. But Esk isn't going to make it out. Gets his TP, well, not really canceled directly. It's just death that cancels it, but oh boy. They needed the big Chronosphere instead. It's not technically a whiff, but it hits onto the only hero that they really had no chance of taking down. Now, they're losing just about everybody, other than Yves, who just actually bailed once he saw that his Chrono had only hit Pakaz. And may not be getting away with it. Yep, there's the silence. Yep. And he's pretty much dead. Pakaz just absolutely hacking away at everybody he's got here. 14-0 now on the Chaos Knight, and well, now they can't really try any sort of fight for another 2 minutes until the chrono's back up.
Yeah, and really just Matthew topping off everyone constantly with the shockers. There's no reason for Thunder Awaken to ever back. They have the resets, they have the durability. Every single member of their team could just stay on the map pretty much indefinitely with Matthew making his trips. And sure, he's not the most farm total I've ever seen, but hey, he's doing his job. He's got the Ag Shard. He's pulling people around. There's just really no reason for them to ever stop. And, well, here's your tier 3. They're trying to make a play mid at the same time, but I don't think they're going to get Dark Mago, and you're losing your top racks right now.
If they don't manage to lock him down, he jumps away at the Remnant, but because he actually wants the fight rather than the tower, he's going to get Esk. He pulls in Sammy as well. And Alexo, yeah, you're good. He's just going to tick down. Oh my god, just styling on him. Triple kill for your Chaos Knight. Meanwhile, Sacred able to grab himself a kill as Devi is sort of caught out of the base, and I mean, what's left for Wildcard to even defend with? Buybacks are basically non-existent. There's one on the Skywrath and one on the Faceless, but it just isn't really enough. They can't mount a defense. He isn't even in the base. He's all the way down in the bottom jungle just trying to farm up, so this should be at least 1, maybe 2 lanes of racks for free.
And, well, Because killed his own Aegis. That was fun. He was getting sloppier and sloppier with his armlet toggles on the tier 3, and then just died. So that's cool. So, hey, maybe they can actually kill him with the Chrono coming back up, but you definitely feel like Thunder Awaken don't really appreciate what their opponents have right now, and Sacred can just do that, though.
Just gonna push in. Hasn't killed anyone just yet, but he sets it up. Dark Mago jumps in, picks up the double kill. Alexo gonna use his buyback. Dark Mago was hit by the X, but the Yule Scepter means he doesn't really have to care about the pullback. Esk is the one who dies, and this is just getting into sort of desperation territory. See, as Esk is gonna buy back, they're in onto Dark Mago. They can't kill him off just yet, though, as the disruption comes through, but once he's up from that disruption, they do finish him off. So maybe they have finally found that weak point, but that's another X that's not going to work. Those Yule Scepters are just so brutal to break up that combo. The Wildcard is still alive. That's got to count for something. Sacred, though, whoa, trying to change that. Getting in pretty deep. Mana's a little low, though, and oh, there's a disruption to prevent the pullback. They really just can't hit any of these. These X's are coming out. That's 3 or 4 in a row, and Esk just hasn't been able to actually pull anyone into a trap.
Yeah, and he's scouting out. Kaz is waiting for his moment here. I don't think anyone thinks that's real, but Sammy might be dead in the meantime. Look at how many sentries are placed. It's really hard for him to actually approach here, but without the chrono, and you look for it.
Okay. That's a 3-man chrono, but there's not enough damage right now. They've taken down Panda, but Kaz has to be the target. The Mystic Flare was thrown down, though, very nicely placed, so they do finally kill off that CK. Can they get Sacred as well? They're going to try and track him down here, but okay, wow, track that. He just blinks right back in, takes down 2. Esk, I think, can finish him off? Yeah. But now, yeah, there's the recall. Dark Mago pulled in. Esk is going to pay for this one, so even when Wildcard are making good plays, it's still going to cost him too much.
Yeah, and that is with them throwing 8 lives at Thunder Awaken, and Thunder Awaken getting 3-man chrono. It still feels like even best case scenario, it's just might not end up being enough here. And well, Dark Mago's back at least. They're still got a little bit of game to play, but I genuinely think as soon as Because respawns, we might see the end here. And well, Devi's playing, but not going to be playing for much longer here. Well,
Matthew, that's rude. That is a point-blank channel on the Illuminate, just knowing Devi can't move anymore. So they're going to be able to clean that one up. The delayed death is going to sort of stagger what remains of the Wildcard lineup, and I don't really know. Yeah, like you said, you know, you get a 3-man chrono, you kill off Because, you hand him his first death of the game, actually. He was 17-0 prior to that, and that was one of the better scenarios that could have played out, and it's still not really enough for you to be a definitive winner in that engagement. So if you're Wildcard, it bought time. That has to count for something, but well, now you're in trouble. He's just going to try to run away. Because knows which one's real. That Manta dodge doesn't really do a whole lot. And they're actually going to put him under with the disruption as well, just to make sure that they can lock him down all the way.
no, super simple.
Dark Mago, are you serious? The man knows no fear. Just jumping into the base.
That's
That's a little bit rude, but nobody's gonna stop you, right? Well, okay, I say that. Now here comes Esk. There's going to be the X into the Fiend's Grip, into the Ghost Ship, but a disruption from Panda again will break up the combo.
And that's Shuji, most likely.
That has to be. I mean, God, it's been like 10 minutes since the Kunkka's actually been able to connect with the combo, and yeah, there's the GG. Wildcard said, you know what, we've had enough. Fair enough. They concede defeat, and Thunder Awaken. I still don't know what secret formula, what deal with the devil that Hikori made to get that 2-0 against Thunder Awaken, because no one else has been able to do anything to them.
Nope, definitely not. It's something with the Ember Spirit. It's something about this hero with those players that just turns on something that you really aren't able to tell. And I think now Thunder Awaken incredibly happy with their position in the tournament, but Wildcard are at the mercy of the only other team. I think there's only one possibility at this point, and that's if Infamous get 2-0'd by Hikori tomorrow, then they tie. They both end up at 8-8, and then, well, we'll have to see what happens after that. But aside from that, Wildcard are done. That's it.
Actually, yeah, so that tiebreaker with Infamous, that would just be for the 5th seed, right, between the two of them, because Wildcard are now stuck at 8-8. But if you are the 5th seed, you get first pick of your opponents from the 7 and 8, which is King of Kings and Dog Champ. So that is still going to matter a little bit. You can pick yourself maybe a more favorable matchup. I won't tell you which of the teams they're probably going to want to play up against, but I think you can figure it out. The point being, Wildcard now 8-8 record. Their schedule is over, and you know, ET, this series against Thunder Awaken, I know they're one of the hottest teams in the event right now, but I have some serious concerns for Wildcard after watching them just kind of get dismantled like that.
Yeah, it really feels like, I don't know, just a much different team. I remember when we were watching their games when they got their 2-0 and we're like, wait a second, Wildcard are kind of looking good here. Wildcard are kind of putting something together. And then I think specifically, they're still trying to move past the patch. Game 1, you got Monkey King. You know, what can you do? That's a little bit rough. But Game 2, they just drafted themselves a little bit into a corner here. And when it comes to these strength heroes, it's a fine line you have to ride. And unless you're just balling out of control in those first 15 minutes, I think Thunder Awaken, if 4 Zoomers are the heroes, then Thunder Awaken are the death ball meta, just back in full force, because they are just in every lane all the time, never letting you split push, never letting you get out. And I think Wildcard, stylistically, maybe it's just a bad matchup, but Thunder Awaken just held them to really every point on the map.
Yeah, Thunder Awaken doing to Wildcard what they've done to basically everyone other than Hikori. But now, we move on. We've got one last series. It's going to be Thunder Awaken in action once again with this 2-0. They are now tied with Hikori for first place, but the interesting scenario now plays out, because if that tie remains, Hikori have the head-to-head. They would win that tiebreaker. They would have the #1 seed. So Thunder Awaken need more points, and they've got the chance to earn them. It's not going to be easy for them, though. They move on to face Lava, who are currently, I believe, tied for 3rd with 9 wins. So you go from sort of tough matchup to tough matchup, although I say tough matchup, they handled Wildcard quite nicely, so maybe they can do the same going up against a regional rival in the form of Lava. But we will have to wait and see. That series is coming up next, our final series of the evening. I think we are potentially going to be taking an extended break, though, here for Thunder Awaken, as we usually do when a team is playing back-to-back series. So, might be a little bit of a longer wait this time, somewhere between 15 to 20. But, yeah, we'll have one last series to cap it off, a fight potentially for first place between Thunder Awaken and Lava. Best PC. That'll be coming up next.